we have a very important guest to help us discuss the do's and don'ts in the month of Ramadan. You just can't afford to miss this discussion. What are the limits to what you can do as a fasted Muslim, and what are the things you should shun in this spiritually fulfilling month? We go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, I introduce my guest and we kickstart the discussion. Stick and stay with us. You're welcome back. And today, to help us do the discussion, is a very young and vibrant Imam who has served across the length and breadth of this country. He studied in Egypt and has his master's in religions from the University of Ghana. We are privileged to have Sheikh Imam Abdurrahman Al-Hassan, Imam of the Voice of Islam Mosque in Tema. Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum. And thank you so much for making time with us here, Sheikh.
Alhamdulillah.
And Sheikh, a Muslim should be a good Muslim all year round. But what makes Ramadan extraordinary for us to be extra cautious, the things we do and the utterances we make?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Yeah, if you read Surah Al-Baqarah, and you read about verses concerning Ramadan, straight away, I think in Quran chapter 2 verse 182, 83 going, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu. Allah calls the believers and he mentions a duty to them. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. So the verse actually tells us that fasting was made compulsory upon us, just as it was made compulsory upon those who came before us. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So that you will be pious. You will learn self-restraint. And piety has a lot of meanings, as it has been explained by scholars. So straight away you realize that Allah called believers and he gave them a duty. And so believers are those who will be able to perform that duty. And that is why Allah called believers. Because elsewhere in the Quran, Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas. Allah calls the whole of mankind. When the message is to the Prophet, say, Ya ayyuhan Rasul. If the message is to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that as a prophet, say, Ya ayyuhan Nabi. But here, Allah called believers. And believers have certain features, as the Quran has mentioned and you find in the Ahadith. But then Allah gave them a duty, and the duty is fasting. And that's fasting in the month of Ramadan. If you follow the verse, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ شَهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ. So the duty is fasting, and then the end result of that duty in terms of the acquisition of the character traits is لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. That is piety. And so you realize that by the end that a person goes through the fasting, he should be able to increase in piety. And piety in the simplest form is to do what Allah loves and to refrain from what Allah dislikes. In a simple form. And so anything that is forbidden before Ramadan is forbidden. Anything that is allowed before Ramadan is allowed. But in terms of Ramadan, it's more training. Somebody says that anytime we can go to the market, but we have a market day. So a market day, a lot of people come from the village, and you see a lot of... Even
though all week round, they are still able to go and purchase their wares.
Exactly. So Ramadan is just like a market day.
Wow.
Where we are told to increase in our good deeds, and you realize that there are hadiths where Angel Gabriel used to come to the Prophet ﷺ in every night when Ramadan became compulsory, لِيُدَارِسَهُ الْقُرْآنِ, so that they study the Quran. And he said, كَانَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم أَجْوَدَ النَّاسِ. So generous. وَكَانَ أَجْوَدُ مَا يَكُونُ فِي رَمَضَانِ. He becomes more generous in Ramadan. So he increases in good deeds. And then he preaches that people should refrain from bad deed. If you remember the hadith narrated by An-Nasa'i, Al-Hakim, and other scholars, the Prophet ﷺ warns us. It says, "Rubba sa'imin laysa lahu min siyamihi illa al-jur'." a lot of those you see, a lot of those who fast, they just worry themselves of hunger and thirst. وَرُبَّ قَائِمٍ لَيْسَ لَهُ مِنْ قِيَامِهِ إِلَّا سَهَرٍ. A lot of those who also stand up in the night to be offering nawafil prayers, they are just killing themselves or wasting that particular energy of not sleeping. But then they are offering ibadah. Why is it that their fasting is not nullified? Because they didn't eat, they didn't drink, they didn't have sexual intercourse, like we are told, within or from dawn to dusk. Okay. So their fasting is intact. We wouldn't say that their fasting is nullified. So they fasted all right, but then because of certain things that they did wrong, they are not getting the reward of fasting, to the extent that they are just killing themselves of hunger and thirst. And even they will stand up in the night and be observing nawafil prayers, but at the same time they will just be wasting that particular energy for nothing, no reward, because of certain things that they would have been doing alongside the fasting. So for me, I'm afraid when I read such a hadith, though it is painful for somebody to be struggling so much in this month, trying to earn a reward, but by the end of the day you realize that you will not be getting the reward that you would want to have. And so definitely there is the need for us to look at the do's and the don'ts, so that we do more of the do's and then we refrain from the don'ts, so that inshallah the pleasure of Allah that we're looking for, inshallah.
Yeah, Sheikh, in your preamble you said a believer in terms of the pedestal of piety is like a market goer. You go purchase stuff, but you increase your purchase in this special month. Can you take us through what the daily routine of a fasting person is, in terms of the things you should do and those you should shun?
Okay, of course, beginning the fasting, we have to have the intention for fasting, and this I'm sure scholars have explained in various backgrounds. So you take the intention before the day's fasting, or Sheikh Uthaymeen and other scholars have explained that it's enough the beginning of the fasting, as you have the intention to fast the month of Ramadan, it continues, unless you travel or something comes in that stops the fasting that you are going through. You know, if you are traveling or you are sick, and فَإِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ, so you can drink water, and then but you pay. So if you started Ramadan and your intention is to fast in the month of Ramadan, it's not compulsory that every day you need to take a new intention. You have taken the intention for the month. But then if you travel or something comes in where you drink water or you break that particular fast, when you are starting again, you have to take that intention. And the intention, as explained by scholars, is within the heart.
So it doesn't have to be vocal.
No.
Because there are Asantin Kramo, quote unquote, or people that are new reverts, yeah, Sheikh, that Arabic is difficult for them. So please, can you convince people that you don't have to speak Arabic before you can take an intention to start fasting?
Anyway, the Asantin Kramo, you use it somehow, but sometimes if the person is a revert, it's a revert. And we even have some who were born into Islam,
but they don't know,
but still it's a problem. So we are told by scholars that the intention is an action of the heart. Is it? So like Uthaymeen explains, ordinarily nobody wakes up in the night at the dawn to take a meal or water.
So the fact that you are doing that means
exactly. So there's a purpose for that. It's just like you wake up and you take the kettle, you are going to perform ablution. If you don't have an intention within you to either recite Quran or either to go and observe Salah, it will be difficult that you just get up and take the kettle and you are going to do something. And so the fact that that action establishes within your heart and it connects to your mind, intention has taken place. So it is not necessarily a set of words that nawaitu an asuma. There are some scholars say that that particular one we don't have a strong evidence for.
So the chain of the narration itself is weak in terms of authenticity.
We don't even find a chain itself. It is just somebody's ijtihad, because we don't find even the Prophet ﷺ, when he is about to fast, he has a specific words that he recites and he says that this is an intention. Unless, of course, if somebody has, then all of us are ready to learn.
But so the one they said, "Inni nawaitu sawma Ramadan 30 yawman aw 29."
You don't even find anything. You don't even find anything concerning even it being a hadith.
Wow.
Rather, even to say it is weak or it is whatever. But then, if it is there, then of course all of us are ready to learn. And so, like Uthaymin, a lot of fatwa, like Uthaymin, and other scholars, they have explained. So the intention.
Sheikh, you are on the intention, and I know there's a controversial issue many people consider taboo areas.
Yes.
But I know you are there to serve Islam, and you will call a spade a spade. The confusion that surrounded the beginning or commencement of the fast. Wednesday, I started on Wednesday. Perhaps you started on Thursday. What does Islam say about the commencement date of fast, and what level of influence do muftis, national chief imams, or Islamic authorities wield in stating that this is the day this jurisdiction or country is starting the fast of Ramadan?
Yeah, I think if you look at almost all the evidences, you realize that there are two opinions or views from scholars. There is only one moon for the whole world. The only issue is difference in time between us and some other countries. So for instance, if Saudi sights the moon, maybe we are 3 hours in between, so they might sight it first before we sight it. But if they are able to sight it, it is the moon, which is one moon for Ramadan. We don't have a special moon for Ghana, for Côte d'Ivoire, and there's only one moon.
Yes, sir.
So there is a view that there is nothing wrong if a certain country sights it, and the whole world embraces it. This is one view. The other view is that some scholars have explained that because of difference in time, it affects issue about month and what have you. And so there are some evidences which doesn't make it wrong for somebody to specifically look at the sighting from his country. So you can forget about any of the sighting, but then make use of the sighting for the country he is in, or the country that is closer. Some scholars even explain whether the country is an Islamic country, or so that in terms of how the energy is put in. But the most important thing is that it is about sighting. So where the controversy comes in, especially in Ghana, is that I see that our energy that we put in the sighting of the moon, right from the beginning, whether it is Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awwal, because all the month we have to sight it to find out whether it is 29 or it is 30, so that we can move on to the next month, so we can continue and then reach Shaban, then we can have Ramadan. Because some people think that because of the way we are not so much serious and we don't know so much about what happens since Muharram and what have you, then if there is an Islamic country that is so much serious in terms of the sighting, why don't we just look at that particular country so that we can use their sighting? You see? But then a solution that I will propose is that whether it is Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, whether it is any group, let us all make effort. This one is not about a specific group, it's about sighting. We can all come together. If it's a Hilal committee, we have a Hilal committee, we are all members, or we have individual representatives. All of us give the news about the sighting. We follow the month. There is a number there. If you cite it, you can call. It is cited. This is not so much about a lot of fake principles like, okay, we agree to this one, we don't agree to that one. It's about citing. And the scholars have agreed that, inshallah, we can pay attention to our citing of the moon. So if we are serious so much, and then we come together and we are able to follow the citing, inshallah, I'm sure some days to come we will not find this problem. A friend was telling me about Côte d'Ivoire, how they came together to put some structures in place every month. If it is Muharram, how many days have we reached? What is the 29th? Can we cite it? If we cite it, yes.
Okay.
The next month follows. If we don't cite, it becomes 30. Then the next month follows. So with that, inshallah, collectively, we can come to a certain consensus. But as it stands now, that some people think that this is like this. This issue will continue like that.
During our days in the University of Ghana, I remember we were in the same hall. There were times one of our brothers, Sharif Jannah Focus, would always be holding the tasbah. So I remember one day we were passing by and he said, hey, it was Ramadan. What he was doing was right, but there would be temptations. And you meet people who are, chewing a stick at 12 noon because they want to apply the sunnah. How extraordinary should the life of a believer be? I'm hearkening back to the first question, the routine of a fasting person. What is the ideal situation?
Yeah, so of course, after the intention, you take sahur. You say, tasaharu fa'ina fi sahur baraka. There's a lot of barakah in it. And the barakah is not just you get reward, but it's also to cushion you for the day's fasting. So if you cannot even eat any food, you should drink water. And we were told that we should delay the sahur. You see, the more you delay it, I think you see, to cushion you so that you don't starve, because fasting is not starving. If you don't eat anything to the extent that now even your protein is being changed to be energy, at that point in time you are starving. But fasting will help. If even the carbohydrate is finished, the fat that remains in your body, part of it is converted to be a source of energy, and that is health. Okay, and so the sahur is very important. And after sahur, of course, the Salatul Fajr is there, the other salawats, they are there. And then, of course, we are told that the chewing stick matter you mentioned, cleaning the mouth, very, very important. In this particular month, a lot of us don't want to clean their mouth because they think that we cannot use even chewing stick except those that are dried. But we don't see any strong evidence for this. Chewing stick is chewing stick. But then the most important thing is you are cleaning your mouth. And we are told that there is nothing wrong even when you are preparing food and you want to taste whether there is salt. Just more on the tongue, on the tongue. Then you spit it off. I mean, you are not eating, you are not drinking. Okay, you are not eating. So that you will not come and you are now eating the food because you are fasting, that there is no salt and you cannot even enjoy the food. No, you see. So at the same time, when you are fasting, you perform ablution. You put water in your mouth. So if you clean your mouth, that is Islam. If you go to miswak, using miswak, or some people talk about even brush, but some scholars say that you just have to be careful. You just clean the mouth and you wash everything without allowing anything to enter. You see, the problem is that those, or a lot of us who don't fast, they end up spitting around because they are fasting. In certain masajid, the top of the mosque, you can find some Muslim there, and they spit from the top to down. And if somebody is down there, you could see what happens. And the Prophet has cursed two categories of people. Ittaqul la'dan. Fear two people who are cursed. And so one of them is yatakhalla fi tariq das. Those who spit and they do things at the paths of people.
So matters of sanitation should be important for the fasting
Exactly.
Muslim.
So even when you want to spit, you can have a small container somewhere if there is even the need for you to do that.
Yeah, Sheikh, can you address this issue? When people are fasting, they are unkempt, they are so depressed, they don't iron their clothing. Like, as soon as you see the individual, you know that the person, God has said, be hungry and thirsty for some 12 hours. But the person's whole body is showing that they are suffering. Should you be all cleaned up and confident and energetic in your daily activities, even when you are fasting?
I think we are told by Abu Huraira, hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Inna Allah tayyib, la yaqbal illa tayyiba." Allah is nice, beautiful, and He doesn't accept anything except that thing is also nice and beautiful. Even before Ramadan, some Muslims think that piety means be shabbily dressed. When you see him with a certain dress, or sometimes the dress is not iron, you say, MashaAllah, MashaAllah, a lot of iman. No. La ba'asa bil ghina liman ittaqa. There's nothing wrong for the one who is pious to be rich and keep himself. In fact, even in the Quran, we are commanded, khuzu zinatakum inda kulli masjid. Wear your adornment. If Ali ibn Abi Talib dresses to go and pray, people begin asking him, are you traveling? Then you intend tell them, وَيْحَكُمْ أَتَدْرُونَ مَنْ سَأَكِفُ بَيْنَ يَدَيِ الْآنِ. Woe on you. Do you know the one I'm going to stand before right now? I'm going to stand before Al-Khaliqu Samawati wal-Ard, the creator of heaven and earth. But interestingly, when we are traveling, we wear the best of our clothing. Bring my Ecolog. But when we are going to observe prayers, is it the person taking anything anyhow, and you are going to stand before Allah? وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. Among the thanksgiving that we give to Allah is to show to Allah the ni'mah, the favors He has bestowed upon us. So looking shabbily dressed and what have you has nothing to do with iman. But then keeping yourself well is rewarding, because this your body was not created by you. It was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as favor upon you. So you bath it, you dress well, you are being rewarded. You keep the body well, you are being rewarded. A number of Quranic ayats and even the hadiths come together to explain this point. And so the fact that we are fasting means that we have to keep ourselves well, because the pious for which, or because piety for which the Quran or the fasting was made compulsory upon us, is for us to have good attitude and to look well, to look nice, man.
Okay, yeah, Sheikh, I'll cut you here. You may now join the conversation if you have any questions to ask Sheikh. The number to call will be displayed boldly shortly on your screens. You can call in. Today we are discussing do's and don'ts in the month of Ramadan, and we are privileged to have in the studio Sheikh Imam Abdurrahman Al-Hassan, the Imam for Voice of Islam Mosque in Tema. Yeah, Sheikh. So now I would want you to itemize certain things. As for this, it's something you need to do and you're encouraged to do it more. As for that, you don't have to do it even outside Ramadan. It's even worse when you do it in the month of Ramadan.
Exactly. Those things that we are not supposed to do, I'll just go there first. Okay. Backbiting, wasting of time in watching films and televisions that are haram, watching the nakedness of men or women. This is the month of reward. Go to places where tafsir is being organized. Take your time to recite Quran.
There's a caller, Sheikh. I'll be cutting in from here. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling us from? Hello. Wa alaikum salam. Your name and where you calling us from?
I'm calling from the
Broafu region. Please do make your point. Yes, we can hear you. Put off your TV set completely. Okay.
It's very natural. Then I want to ask Imam that. Okay, don't worry. Hello.
Yes, you can ask your question.
Please, I want to ask Imam that. Is it possible that if anytime if whoever comes into your mouth, you have after you can you go out and bless or you want to stay after the Imam says salam alaikum before we go out?
Okay, thank you so much. Your point is quite clear. Yeah, Sheikh, you are praying behind the Imam, and because of Ramadan, saliva masses up in your mouth. Do you wait till they do salam alaikum for you to go out and spit it out, or you just swallow it?
If you can swallow, you swallow.
But Sheikh, that will open the floodgates for people to be swallowing.
But is it not saliva? Is it not from your body? Why? What is wrong with it? But then, if you have a handkerchief, try and get a handkerchief, because you cannot be moving from the salat every now and then. Like that.
Assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Ibrahim Adam.
Ibrahim Adam from Accra. Please make your point.
I want to ask you, if you start fasting and today is 5 days off. Yeah, today is 5 days, and my stomach starts paining me. I can't continue because I did surgery. I do operation last 4 years. When I started fasting, yesterday night I went up to take my juice and my
to take my food when my stomach paining me, and I went to hospital this morning. So I went to one of my friend clinic this morning. What can I continue my fasting? Because I now have the stomach open.
Okay.
Can I start feeding somebody or?
Okay. Please, Sheikh will tackle the question, but I want to ask you, is your sickness chronic or it is just happening now and it will go soon?
Anytime like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, always after that next problem.
Okay. Thank you so much. So it's chronic. Thank you so much for your question. Yeah, Sheikh, ulcer or any form of stomach.
Yeah, so if the fasting will either aggravate the sickness or it will impede its cure, in this case it is more of chronic. So you feed a fasting person every day till the end of...
What is the quantum of money? Can you just give 10 Ghana every day, or you should weigh what you eat with your family?
Exactly what you, if you have a child and how you have a relative and what the relative will take for the day. You know, if it is 10 cedi, you would feed that person for a day. Then you can calculate the 10 cedi for the number of days that you are not fasting, inshallah, and then you give it to the poor.
And Sheikh, should the beneficiary be a Muslim, or you can give that charity to anybody?
No, you give it to the one who is fasting. But a miskin, a poor person who is fasting but doesn't have what it takes to fast.
Okay.
Inshallah.
So, okay. Yeah, Sheikh, you may go back to the do's and don'ts. Another call, sorry. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Mumuni Jamio.
Calling from where?
I'm calling from Wa.
Okay. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. My question to Sheikh is, but before I continue, I'll wish them a happy Ramadan. I wish you all happy Ramadan.
Thank you, and to you too.
My question is, it is believed that the odor or the kind of scent that comes from the mouth of a fasting person is like a perfume.
They
describe it and they attributed it to a particular perfume in general. And now we are also made to believe that it is good to use miswak to clean the mouth. I want to know, is it not a kind of contradiction between that is using a miswak and on the other hand to saying that the scent is good? If the scent is good, then why don't we leave it till we break the fast?
Okay, thank you. Your point is well made. Sheikh, should we take it? Okay, should we take this literally or metaphorically? Or God is only going to He's only encouraging us to.
No, you see, the scholars have explained that scent that you find in the hadith emanates from the stomach, because you have not eaten for quite some hours. Naturally, there is a certain sense that will be coming or emanating from the stomach. That is actually
Sheikh, really sorry. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
I'm calling from
Okay, can you put off your TV set? Put it off completely and we can still hear you.
Hello?
Kindly put off your TV set. Wa alaikum assalam. Put off your TV set or lower the volume on your set and we can hear you.
I'm calling from
Okay, we can hear you.
My name is Lamin Mohammed.
Okay, welcome Lamin.
Please, I want to ask Sheikh that the Salah is it compulsory or not?
Okay, thank you so much. Asham or Salatul Tarawih, is it compulsory or not?
It is not compulsory. It's not compulsory like the 5 daily prayers, but it's a nawafil fasting that is very good. The Prophet ﷺ offered it in a number of times. I think about 3 days with the Sahaba, and he did not come the next day, and he told the Sahaba the next morning why he did not come, because if he continuously came, Allah may make it compulsory and they will not be able to offer it.
Okay, hello, assalamu alaikum.
Hello, walaikum salam. You have come back again.
You calling from where? Okay.
I want to ask you that is it compulsory for a pregnant woman to fast?
Okay, thank you so much.
Another question again,
okay, you can ask.
and the one who is with a baby.
Okay, a nursing mother or a lactating mother. Okay, thank you so much.
It is compulsory for them to fast unless their fasting will have a big negative effect on them or their babies from doctors who are truthful. Some scholars talk about Muslim doctors who are truthful. Then in that case, they will drink water, but then they will pay back the fasting some other days after Ramadan. A lot of scholars have given this fatwa, and that is stronger than those who say that they will feed the poor.
Okay, yeah, Sheikh, go back to the stench from your mouth.
Exactly.
The fasting person.
Exactly. Because the Prophet ﷺ used to take miswak even when he is fasting. So if the meaning of the scent...
Sorry, ya Sheikh. Afwan, ya Sheikh. Wa alaikum salam. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Yusuf.
From where?
I'm Yusuf.
From where?
Kintampo.
Kintampo. Welcome, Yusuf. And Sheikh is from Kintampo, I think.
Yeah, from Kintampo.
Okay. You can make your point.
My question to Sheikh is... Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay. When do we pay Kabli and Badi? In Ramadan, as the listing, Salat Tarawih from them.
Okay.
Like with the Salat Tarawih, when Kabli or Badi catches you, are you going to pay it, or we have compulsory prayers that you pay it?
Okay, thank you. Your point is quite clear. Yeah, Sheikh, you said the Tarawih is just like Nafila.
Yes.
But when Kabli and Badi catch you, how do you...
It is still Salah. So it is good that when you are affected by Kabli, you do Kabli to correct the Salah. I don't think you just want to leave the Salah like that. But some scholars say that while it is Nafila, you can pray it with some elimination of certain things. It's not like fard or fard. But it is good when Kabli catches you, like it is mentioned. You correct it, it's also Salah.
Okay, hello, Assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Sambakari. I'm calling from Murata.
Okay, welcome.
My problem is that a person with asthma.
Asthma.
Can you use inhaler?
Inhaler.
An inhaler while you are asthmatic and in the month of Ramadan, can you use an inhaler? Yeah, Sheikh.
Yes, you can use. It is no food that is entering into the body.
So do the chemicals not provide nourishment, yeah, Sheikh?
No, it is to cure. It doesn't provide nourishment. If there is nourishment from it, the scholars say that.
What if you are a footballer and while you are training on the pitch, you get injured and you bleed a little? Is there a way of stopping the bleed medically and you continue with your fast? Hello? Assalamu alaikum.
Hello?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling from?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
My name is Polytechnic.
Okay, make your point. And there's so much noise in your background. Can you put off your TV?
Calling from Polytechnic.
Oh, sorry, you would have to call again. I'm sorry. You would have, when you call, kindly put off your TV completely and we can hear you, or lower the volume on your set. There's like injuries and bleeding while fasting.
Yeah, some of you scholars say that if using an injection, that is not nourishing the body, it is for cure. This is not food. So some say there's even nothing wrong with even that. But if you are to take food before you take an injection, of course you are eating food, or medicine that you have to take water, you see, it nourishes. And so for that one, but if it's on the surface of the body, then there's nothing wrong.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Your name and where you calling us from, brother?
Yeah, my name is Abdullah.
Calling from where?
From Manso Kwanta.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I have a problem this afternoon.
What's your
Going
problem?
to a mosque, Zohar. I was in the room and I heard the azan. And after the azan, there was a phone making this thing, like they are preaching on the phone. And they use the preaching to give the mic so that you can hear it. So on my way going to the mosque, I'm hearing the preaching. Meanwhile, they have made the adhan. So after I went to the mosque, I saw people making nafla. I knew myself. I want to make some of the nafla. And through the preaching, this man, Sheikh Mariam was
okay, Sheikh. Okay.
So I was confused because I was standing there while I'm doing the nafla, and the man is using the phone, making the preaching. So I was able to make it back. You see, my attention was on the preaching what I'm trying to
okay, my brother, your point is well made. Thank you so much. Sheikh will tackle it. Should you have a divided attention, not necessarily coming from music, coming from what is halal, like preaching or recitation of the Quran?
It's discouraged. It's discouraged, especially in the masjid. The Prophet ﷺ says that if you are even sitting and you are reciting Quran and somebody is praying and your voice is loud, you have to lower your voice. What you are doing would confuse him or would disturb him. So even in the recitation of Quran, you are told you have to lower your voice. Okay. So let alone in the microphone.
Assalamu alaikum. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Mumuni Jami once again, speaking from Wa. Please, I want to make a suggestion. And mine is a suggestion, and it goes this way. It's like the number of calls that comes, the Imam is unable to answer.
So you want us to take all the calls, then you answer
that you pick the questions, at least three. You give him the opportunity to answer.
Okay, thank you so much.
You give him the opportunity to answer. When he does that, then you hold the rest of the calls. Either than that, a lot of questions are asked, no questions, and no answers are given. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. But dear viewer, we appreciate it, but you would also appreciate that calls may come, one may come and it will take time for another call to come. We can't keep the Imam sitting there while we wait for other calls. But where the calls come incessantly, we could as well lump them together so he can tackle the questions. Okay, Sheikh. So you were making a point that disturbance coming from elsewhere while you are praying.
Yeah, so it is discouraged. Okay. Discouraged totally. Even when you are reciting Quran, like we recited the hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, let alone in a microphone, when people are there offering salawat, and then you are also preaching on a loud voice, confusing those who are praying. It is wrong. You have to put it off whilst people are doing other ibadat.
Okay. And yeah, Sheikh, as we wait for the next tranche of calls, what are the other things you need to? You mentioned Taraweeh, you said it's not compulsory. But today when people call you after they've broken their fast and you are not doing Asham, it's like you are not upholding the tenets of the month of
you see the
late night prayer too. Is it compulsory that you go out for everybody to know that?
Is if we say it is not compulsory, then we are talking about the fact that anything that is compulsory, you are giving a reward when you do it, and when you desist or you refrain from doing it, you are giving punishment. That is fard. Okay, but this one is sunnah. It's not compulsory, because if you do it, you get reward. But if you don't do it, you are not specifically punished for not doing it. But who would leave? For the Prophet says, "Man qama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaba ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi." And Qiyam Ramadan, according to a number of scholars, is Salatu Tarawih or Qiyam Layl, standing in the night and praying, and that is Qiyam Ramadan. And your sins, your past sins, are forgiven. So who would have this reward there, and then you decide not to do it? And so we are using it's not compulsory because of this explanation about what is compulsory, but it is strongly encouraged for us to do the Taraweeh. And to the extent that, you know, the Prophet ﷺ says that if you recite Quran with ablution, nice, and you recite every alphabet, you get 10 rewards. So we are even encouraging each other that not just even the Taraweeh, but you should recite more of the Quran. So, for instance, if you stand, you are offering nawafil, and somebody uses Qul Huwallahu Ahad, another person uses Inna Anzalnahu Fi Laylatul Qadr, by pursuit of every alphabet and 10 rewards, all things being equal, the person with Inna Anzalnahu is having more reward than you with Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Okay. So we are not even encouraging each other for the Taraweeh, but we are even encouraging each other to recite more of the Quran and go to masajid where we encourage each other, inshallah, to recite more of the Quran to earn a reward for ourselves.
All too soon, ya Sheikh. We've come to the end of another edition of Ramadan Caravan. We've had in the studio Sheikh Imam Abdurrahman Al-Hassan, Imam for Voice of Islam Mosque in Tema. Till we come your way tomorrow with another edition of Ramadan Caravan. Stay blessed. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.